Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make a witch statue. We're going to need a load of materials for this one. Get your shopping list ready. If you want to make it, here's what you're going to need. You will need some cyan stained clay. Also grab black stained clay and some blue stained clay. Also grab white, green, lime green, orange stained clay. You're also going to need yourself some purple wool, and you're also going to need some white wool as well. And we're not done. We'll need some more stuff a little later on. So once you have everything that we have there, and once you've figured out what you want to make it, I'll be making it right here. You're going to want to kick off your witch statue with a row of 8 cyan stained clay in a row on the floor. That's 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Once you have your row of 8 cyan stained clay, this is what you want to do next. So figure out which side of this row you want your witch to be. Like, is this the front side or is this the back side of your witch? This, for me, is the front side of your witch. So once you've determined that, you then want to come to the back side of your witch, and you want to take each end of this row of 8 and extend it towards where the back of your witch is going to be by 3. So this end first, 1, 2, 3, and then this end, 1, 2, 3, like that, and then connect each one of those third blocks together to form this little rectangular shape that we have right here. Once you've done that, you now want to add an additional layer of cyan stained clay on top of that first layer. So you're going to want to have 2 layers of your cyan stained clay like that. Once you've done that, you now want to do this, and this part's actually somewhat hard to explain, but with your cyan stained clay, you kind of want to form this shape on top of the next row. You kind of like want to have a table shape like this, and that goes on the back of your clay. You kind of want to, you're basically like half and halving the 4th row of your statue. So like the back half you want to be cyan stained clay, and the front half you want to be black stained clay. Can you guys see what I've done there? I'm sure that you guys will be able to figure that out. It's pretty simple. Once you've done that, this is what you want to do next. You now want to add, how many will this be? You want to add 4 layers of black stained clay on top of your rectangular shape. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and of course we just have to fill in these layers now. So once you've kind of done that half and half with the cyan stained clay and the black stained clay, you now want to add 4 layers of black stained clay on top of your rectangle. So we're just going around now, we're adding in all of these rows, and once we've done that, we can then move on to the next bit. So just going to do that. There we go. Perfect. So once you've added on your 4 layers of cyan stained clay, what am I like? It doesn't even look remotely like cyan. Once you've done your 4 layers of black stained clay, you now want to take out your purple wool, and you want to do a layer of purple wool around the top row of the black stained clay that you've just placed. So around that 4th layer of black stained clay that you've just placed, apply a layer of purple like this. Once you've applied your layer of purple, this is what you want to do next. So you now want to take each one of the 4 corners of the purple rectangle that you've just made, and you want to go on top of each one of those 4 corners by 18 with your purple. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And of course, we want to have the exact same thing on each one of the other 3 corners. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, out of breath, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Those 2 rows seem to be right, so now we can just kind of use those 2 rows to measure the other 2, because I don't want to count to 18 again, because I'm having some lung problems. I'm just lazy, I'm not having lung problems. And there we go. So once you have your 4 rows of 18 purple wool, you then want to connect each one of those 18th blocks together, top block to form what will look like, once we've actually done it, like a big giant purple rectangular shape. Like this. Once you've done that, this is what you want to do next. So before we move on, we have to edit our rectangular shape just a little bit. So you're on the front of your statue and you want to come all the way up to this top row right here. You're going to want to knock out all of the purple that you used to connect the left and right hand side of your rectangle together, and you want to just replace that row with white stained clay, like that. Once you've replaced that, you then, underneath the row of white stained clay that you've placed, you then want to do 4 white wool in the 4 center spots of the row just below it. Then you want to do blue stained clay everywhere else, like that. You then, for the next row, want to do 2 white wool in the 2 center spots of the row, like that. Then do 2 purple either side again, and then just do purple wool everywhere else. So you want to end up with something that should look a little bit like this. Pretty simple. Once you guys have done that, we can then move on to the next bit. So I'm trying to figure out what will cause us the least amount of pain and agony in terms of filling stuff in. I think that we'll probably do the arms now, guys. So come over to the left-hand side of your statue first of all. So you're just going to want to fill in this first row from the top of this side of your statue. You want to fill this in because this is where one of the arms starts. You're going to want to locate this block right here. I'm sure that you guys will have no problem finding this. So that's the front of the statue. 1, 2, 3. You're on this block. Once you've done that, with your purple, extend this block out by 4 out of the side of your statue. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like that. You then want to take this 4th block and do 6 bottom right diagonals from this block. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's 6. You just want to do 6 bottom right diagonals coming out in front of the statue, just like that. You then, from this 6th bottom right diagonal, want to do 3 bottom left diagonals. So that's 1, 2, 3. You then, from this 3rd bottom left diagonal, want to do 6 up left diagonals. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You then want to take the 6th block and do 2 up right diagonals to connect everything back together. Just like that. So you want to have kind of like a diagonal looking rectangular shape, like that. Once you've done that on one side of your statue, you now want to do the exact same thing on the opposite side. So coming over to the opposite side here, you want to first of all fill in this, well, kind of like second row from the top, or first row from the top, right here. And starting from the front of the statue, you want to find the 3rd block coming in of this row, so that's the 1st, 2nd, 3rd. From this block, do a row of 4 purple wool coming out of the statue, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then take this 4th block and do 6 bottom left diagonals coming out in front of the statue, just as we did on the other side. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then do 3 bottom right diagonals. So that's 1, 2, 3. Then do 6 upper right diagonals. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then connect everything together with 2 up left diagonals. That's 1 and 2, just like that. And again, you want to have kind of like this wonky rectangular shape. Once you've done that, this is where the fun bit comes in. This bit is not fun whatsoever. So now what we basically want to do, and the easiest way to explain this is this. We basically kind of want to connect, if we come to the front of your statue, the witch is looking kind of like a weird coat hanger or something. It kind of looks like earrings on like a display or something. What we now want to do is connect this side of the statue, this left hand side of the statue, all the way over to the right hand side like this. So I'll give you guys an example. Take this most outward block and connect the most outward block all the way over to the right hand side of your statue, like that. And you basically want to do it with each one of the other blocks of the arms. However, the only trouble that you will run into is, of course, you won't be able to connect each one of the blocks all the way over from one side of the statue to the other side, as at some point, like you guys will see here, you'll hit the side of the statue before you manage to go over to the other side. That's perfect. That's actually somewhat ideal. So once you guys have filled in all of these blocks of the arms, we actually have the fun of filling in the entire rest of our witch's robes, the torso, all of that. It's going to be a great ball. There's a lot to fill in, so I'm going to be doing that actually. I'm going to be doing this along with you guys. This is one of the things that I'm really tempted to kind of just like, you know, go and do by myself and cut out of the video, but you guys have got to do this as well, right? So we may as well do it together. Shall we suffer together? Do you guys want to do that? Do you guys want to be suffering, pals? I bet you do. You probably don't, but you're coming along for the ride. So I'm just connecting each one of the blocks of the arms together first, just so that you guys can see what this will look like. Is that the entire front done? That's pretty much the entire front done. You guys can see what sort of shape we're forming here. And of course, we've got to do the exact same thing for the front of the torso there. Also got to do these side bits. We've kind of just like got to fill in the sleeves, and we're just building up the general shape of the witch. I don't think that too much of this needs explaining. Of course, we've got to connect this all the way back to the side of the statue. We're basically just filling in gaps now. I'm sure that you guys can see what I'm doing here. Once the arms are done, like I said, I will fill in the rest of the robes. There, the arms done. We've now just got to kind of just like fill in these side bits at the top where you would see any gaps in the witch, because of course we don't want any of that. Same thing on the lower sides as well, and then we've just got the back and the front to do. So we're just, oh god, I hate it when I do that. I hate it when I go down a row like vertically, and I hate that. I hate that so much. Why do you do that, Minecraft? Why do you do that to me? So we're just continuing to fill this in. I knew this would take quite a while. This is no surprise to me whatsoever. Although we are for the most part done-ish. We've just got the front and the back to do, and we've got this side of the arm to fill in. Then after we have completely filled this in, other than the fact that we need to give our witch a head, of course, obviously. Somebody has slain the witch, they've removed the head, but it's okay, we're going to build it a new one. We don't have to worry about that whatsoever. So I'm now just filling in the back of the statue. This is probably the most timely side of the... Actually, what am I talking about? This is not the most timely side. The two sides that we've just done are the most timely sides. This is a walk in the park in comparison. This is easy. There's no pattern back here whatsoever, so that's the back done. And we also have the front to do as well. But after we've completely filled this in, we have a little bit of detail to add on the front, and then we'll move up to the head, which is a separate entity all by its lonesome. So we've just about filled in the entire body of our witch, and we have now filled it in. So this is what you want to end up with, and I'm always afraid that you guys aren't exactly going to get what I'm trying to describe, but hopefully you guys can see exactly what we've done. So we've just essentially connected each one of the arms together, then we've connected the arms to the torso, and of course we've filled in the ends. After we've done that, we've just made sure that there are no holes in our robes, and you just want to end up with something that should look exactly like this. I'm sure that you guys will have no problem grasping that whatsoever. So, once you've reached this point right here, this is what you want to do next. So we just have to change the robes ever so slightly. It's easier to kind of like build it in afterwards than it is to do it whilst we're actually filling in the robe. So these parts where the arms are kind of like crossed together, you want to knock out the two middle blocks of each one of the rows of the arms, and you want to replace each one of these middle blocks with your... I don't actually know what it's called, blue stained clay. I call it purple clay because it kind of looks purple, but of your blue stained clay. And you want to end up with something that should look a little bit like this. So you guys can now see that there's clear separation between the sleeves of the robes, and that's what you just want to do. You want to knock out those two middle blocks of the arms and just replace them with the purple clay. Once you've done that, we want to do a very similar thing to the bottom of the front of the robe. Knock out each one of these middle blocks of the bottom of the front of the robe and replace the left hand row here with green stained clay and replace this right hand row here with lime stained clay, like this. So this is what you want to have at the bottom of the front of your robe. Pretty simple. Once you guys have done that, this is what you want to do next. We now have the fun of doing the head, so come all the way up to the top of your statue, take out your white stained clay, and take this row of white stained clay that we have right here. That's right guys, I placed this for a reason. Take this row of white stained clay and extend it out in front of the statue by one row, like this. Once you've done that, we're now going to build on top of this row to complete the face, and then we'll do the rest of the head. So on top of this most outward row of white stained clay, you want to place 4 black stained clay in the 4 center spots of the row, and then fill the rest of the row in with white stained clay. For the next row, do another row of white stained clay. For the next row, going from left to right, do 1 white clay, then 1 white wool, 1 blue stained clay, 2 white clay, 1 purple clay, 1 white wool, 1 white clay. For the next row, we're actually going to have to introduce a new material, so we'll no longer need white wool. We can get rid of that, and you now want to grab yourself some black wool. So, that's my phone going off, guys, hang on. We can just ignore that. Let's not even cut it out of the video, that's okay. You guys probably didn't even hear that, I should have left it going. So, get rid of your white wool and grab yourself some black wool, like that. For the next row, place a single white clay on the ends of your row, and then place black wool everywhere else to give your witch her eyebrow, or his eyebrow. Guys can be witches. And once you've done that, all you have to do to finish off the face of your witch is 4 rows of white stained clay. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and we just have to fill those in now. So that's 2, 3, and 4, just like that. So that is the base of your witch's face, rhyming up in here. Once you've got that taken care of, all we have to do now is the nose. So take out your orange stained clay and do this. So starting from the 2 middle blocks just beneath the eyes, place 2 orange stained clay coming out in front of the statue. Extend each one of those orange clays down by 3, so that's 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. And then do a row of orange stained clay in front of each one of those rows. So you want to end up with something that should look exactly like that. Pretty simple. Once you've got that taken care of, we can move on to the rest of the head. So come all the way around to the back of your witch's head. Actually, come all the way around to the back of your statue. You want to be in line with this top row of purple wool at the top of the rows. Place a row of 8 white clay coming out of the back of the statue in line with the bottom row of the head of your statue. Then take block number 1 and block number 8 of your row of 8 white clay and extend them up so that they're in line with the front of the head, so they are equal height with the front of the head of your witch, like this. Then connect them together and also connect them to the face of your statue. So you essentially want to make a big white rectangular shape, like this. So you started off, you're on the back of your statue, you did your row of 8 white clay, in line with the first row of the head at the front of the statue, extend them up, connect them to the head. Very simple. That gave you this rectangular shape. What you now want to do is just fill in each one of the 3 faces of your rectangular shape. You don't have to do the top, you only have to do the back and the left and right hand side, just as I'm doing here. Really, don't bother doing the top, it'll be a waste of time because we're going to give our witch a hat. So, I'm just going to fill these in, and once we've done this, we can move on to the hat, like I keep mentioning. So, once you have completely filled in your witch's head, this is what we're going to do next. Take out your black wool, and in line with the top row of the white stained clay that you just placed, you want to do a layer of black wool that goes all the way around that top row of white clay. So in a big giant square shape like this, just do a layer of black wool. Then add another layer on top of that first initial layer of black wool. So just as I'm doing here, add a layer of black wool, just on top of that first initial layer to give you 2 layers, like this. Once you have those 2 layers, this is what you want to do next. So what you now want to do is, it's a very similar concept, except you kind of want to do a layer of black wool that kind of like sits on top and inside of the second layer of black wool that you've placed. It's kind of really hard to put into words, but you kind of just want to like stack 4 rows of black wool inside and on top of the square of black wool that you just placed. And again, it's kind of really difficult to put into words, but I'm sure that you guys will be able to see without too much trouble what you have to do once I've actually done it for you guys. So I'm just going to do it and then show you guys what you have to do, although I'm sure that some of you will be able to see what I've just done there. So inside of that square of black wool that we had before, you just want to stack 4 rows of black wool just coming up from the center of that square, like that. And once you've done that, once you have your 4 rows of black wool, you now want to do the exact same thing on top of what you've just done. So, making an even smaller square of black wool, you want to do 4 layers of black wool, just kind of like going around the inside of the middle of the top of your hat. So, just going all the way around. I'm sure that you guys can see what I'm doing here. You just want to do 4 layers of black wool. So, exact same thing that we just did before. We're just steepling the hat. We're just getting higher and higher, kind of like Russian dolls, just smaller and smaller inside. What you want to end up with is something that should look exactly like this. Once you've done that, we now have to put the point on the top of the hat. So just fill in this top of the hat now. So this, oh, I don't know, is this a third layer? So fill in the top of the 3rd layer of the hat. Once you've done that, you now want to do a 2x2 square of black wool just at the top of the center of the hat. If you guys can see what I've done there. So you've filled in the top, and then you've got like a 2x2 square, or more like a cube I suppose, of black wool that sits at the very top of the hat, just like this. And once you've done that, all we have to do to completely finish off the hat is we just have to do a buckle on the front of it. So this is how I'm going to do this. I'm actually just going to do this and then show you guys the end result. So on the front of the hat, you want to form a shape with your cyan stained clay and your lime wool. That should look a little bit like this. So unlike that second layer of black that we added, like the middle section-ish of the hat, you just want to, with your cyan stained clay and your lime wool, you just want to have like that buckle on the front of it. And I'm sure that you guys can see exactly what I've done there. I don't think that you guys will have too much trouble adding that for yourself whatsoever. So once you, for yourself, have done that, you have actually 100% fully completed your witch statue. Let's take a look at this thing, shall we? Let's see how this is looking. So let's get off the UI. It's actually quite a lot taller than I remember it. So let's take a look at this thing. Let's give it a nice 360. Really nice statue. I really like this statue for a multitude of reasons. Not only do I really like the design of the witch, not only do I like the orange nose and the pointy hat and the purple robes, not only do I think it looks really cool, but I really like how colourful it is. I actually like how the statue itself is designed, not only the witch. I really love the fact that they gave us coloured clay. It opened up a whole new host of possibilities with statue making. A lot of mobs that weren't really, possible to make beforehand are now really easy to make, and it just gives you better options for making some of the older mobs as well. Like a blaze is now a lot easier to make and looks a lot better. Like villagers look a lot better with the update. A load of stuff looks better. I love it. But here you go. Here's your witch. Hopefully you guys managed to make this no problem. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video. Hopefully it wasn't too much trouble to make.